Bro.
Bro.
Yeah, no, we've been missing for the past 2
It's
weeks.
been MIA.
MIA.
We owe
But
we owe them.
Zihlambi, where we just from the Good Friday, Easter,
Yeah.
Kohlanjizo,
Ngiyabona
you know.
ngenyama.
Yeah, man, I got my Zulu bracelet
Okay.
on.
The most
just ready.
priceless. The
You know,
most priceless
not even Gucci can come
can
close
compare.
to this. You
Don't
know?
give Gucci ideas. they'll make them and charge people millions.
Yeah, man. We are back again with another installation of Generation Great podcast.
Episode 9.
Episode 9. Oh my god.
After being away for 2 weeks, after
Yeah.
being MIA for 2 weeks.
So yeah, we back. We are about to start with housekeeping rules.
Yeah.
You know, what are your meditations? I mean, we had 2 weeks to think about this segment, to think about meditations and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
So
true.
what were your, you know, meditations, mantras, thoughts for the past 2 weeks?
I was, to be honest, my mind was blank because the 2 weeks had so many holidays. So I was just chilling. Didn't have to think,
Yeah.
too much. But I think I was thinking about the process.
Yeah.
I think people want the results without going through the process. I think we all need the process. I think the process is a necessary part of the journey.
Sure.
So I think as people, we run away from it. We don't want to embrace it. We want only the good parts,
Sure.
of the process. So I was thinking about that, and we should also depend from the outcome. So do the work,
Yeah.
regardless of the results. Eventually, the result will come.
I wanna come. Oh my God,
it's
yeah.
and it's there's this quote that says it's not about the outcome. It's about who you become.
In the
In the process.
process,
So
yeah.
I was contemplating that about that a lot lately.
Yeah, and you also don't get tested by like nice things.
Yeah.
Because I mean, test will be difficult. It's
Yeah.
always difficult.
Yeah.
So if you just expect things to just be nice
And also, it's funny because we like seeing other people go through struggles and see our accounts. I said, yo,
when you come out of it, you're gonna be amazing. Yeah.
You want to see other people go through it, but you don't want to go through it, and which is not fair. We all have to go through it, unfortunately.
Sure.
So yeah, I think that's important to embrace the process.
Yeah.
In as much as it's challenging and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you thinking about?
Yeah. Look, for me, it was also, and it's a thought I had this morning, actually. It wasn't like the whole week. I just had this thought today that, like a lot of people are triggered by opinions that are different from them. Like, I'm slowly starting to learn that because I have different opinions, I shouldn't be offended with opinions that are different from mine, right? So in this sense, let's say, for instance, you want to help someone achieve a specific goal, or you want to change someone's mind in terms of whatever way they were using that was not working out for them. If they decide, no, I actually don't want to take your advice, or I don't want to use your suggestions, I shouldn't be offended. I should be like, look, I tried to assist, but it didn't work out.
And it's okay.
So I think we also need to teach ourselves that not everything that is in a disagreement with your belief system or your values or your opinions is meant to be taken personally. It's not a personal attack. It's literally that different opinions and different, set of values, right? And I learned that the hard way, where I really asked myself, I was like, why am I offended when someone does not think the same way I do?
Yeah.
So I think we need to also just allow ourselves to be open-minded, to be challenged, and also accept that we're not going to have the same opinions, and it's fine.
And also, we can't enforce what we think, believe, or do on other people.
Exactly.
If you're doing your thing, do your thing without,
Sure.
And I can't be offended that you don't want to tolerate it, that you don't want to take it. You are going to offend certain people.
Exactly. your
You
mere
always,
existence, you can literally just exist and not have
and
any
people are going to be
plan or
offended.
any idea or any opinion,
Yeah.
and someone will be offended by
by
you. They're just
yeah.
not gonna like you,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and that's fine. And it's just fine. It's a
And
normal part of life.
and we live in a time of everyone is getting offended. Unlike everything is offensive.
Yo.
Everyone is just so sensitive about, and it's not that deep, bro. Like,
And everyone has an opinion. I
yeah, and
understand,
everyone has an
and it's
opinion.
fine. But
And we need diversity as humans. You know, I think that's
Yeah.
what makes us humans. I think a difference in opinion, in thinking is necessary because we are all different. We're
Yeah.
different people. We have different ideologies.
Yeah.
You know, and in all that, we create communities because you find other people who will believe in what you're saying. You know,
Exactly.
so it's
Yeah.
I don't get this whole offense thing.
Yeah.
People are offended but triggered by dumb things.
Yeah, man. Speaking of different things, we are going to talk about the education system in South Africa. I mean, I think that's a topic that we've been trying to sort of record on, but we've always been like, should we do it? Should we not? And I think it's a valid conversation that needs to take place because a lot of the things that we go through as the youth of South Africa is mainly due to our experiences, either our teachings, our literacy, or certain things that we sort of imparted on us as we were growing up. And education is a big part of,
It's a big
of
part
who
of
you
our
are,
lives,
right?
yeah.
So I think we're just going to discuss our education system and whether it has worked well for us and whether it's perfect. You don't need to change anything and stuff like that. We just googled now recently the proficiency rate
Of
as
our
compared
teachers,
to Zimbabwe.
of our
Maybe we'll
teachers.
speak a lot more on that. But right now, what is your view on our education system? Do you think there's something that we need to work on, or do you think it's perfectly fine as it is?
I think the South African education, it's no secret. It's old.
Yeah,
It's old. It is not working for us.
sure.
And it's outdated. Everything about it is just outdated. And the only people who benefit from and I'm talking about like a in general, you know,
Sure.
more for people who go to public schools, that education system is horrible. But if you are fortunate enough to go to Model C schools, you get a better and a higher quality education. Like I've
Yeah.
seen that because I've been in public school and I've also went to private
Yeah,
schools,
yeah.
you know.
Sure.
So I know the best of both worlds. You know, and I
Yeah.
also want to ask, are we talking just primary school, high school, tertiary, or everything?
I think
like
we can classify or group everything all
Yeah.
together because I mean, at the end of the day, it's a journey that sort of gives you, or that enlightens you as an
Yeah.
individual because we can't speak on the foundation phase on its own. I
Yeah.
think the education system in its entirety.
Yeah.
And my opinion is might be quite different from your opinion
Yeah.
in the sense that I I think the thing that we struggle most with is accessibility. Not that we need to change a lot in our curriculums.
Yeah.
There's like a really good um you know content that is taught at our schools, right? That I don't think, okay, maybe not really good,
Yeah.
but there is quite a certain level of curriculum or other requirements that are there in our curriculums that I would say really do develop our kids into like, because I mean, if you're going to do like if you want to be an astronaut, you'd obviously have to do a lot of maths and have your analytical skills and how to calculate and stuff like that. So calculus would be like something that you need, right?
Okay.
But I think accessibility in a sense that a lot of the people that want to do certain things don't have access to those things. So, for instance, if I want to play sport and Njipuma Kailisha or Nkuma Ending, and I don't have facilities that allow me to play sport in that manner, or allow or groom me to becoming the best sports person, I won't obviously recognize or channel my ability correctly, right? It's the same with art, it's the same with technology, science. So a lot of the times you find students that are different in terms of their interests, in terms of their level of grasping certain things. Are people who are academic, people who are more into the sports sector, people who are more in debates, radio, and social studies, and there are people who are artistic.
Yeah.
So if we had an education system that allows each and everyone to be part of the system, I think it would work out because everyone would have opportunities to do what they want
So
at that
basically,
stage.
optimize for what you want to do
Exactly.
in that field, whatever field it is.
Yeah.
So instead of just
Generalizing and
Yeah.
wanting to use the same system
for everyone.
Yeah. So that's why I was saying access is a very big part of the problem, because
Access to
access to facilities, material, access to schools that allow you to do art, to do swimming, to play chess and stuff like that. Because there are kids who are in the disadvantaged backgrounds who are good at those things, but they don't know because they've never had to try those things out. Right?
Yeah.
So have a diverse type of education system that allows each child to be part of that system.
Okay. So what about like the actual curriculum? What do you think about it? Like in terms of what's being taught, do you think the quality is good? Is it bad? Could we do better? Like
Yeah.
now I'm talking about like the subjects that they do. I understand. I think I understand that you're talking about the access and whatnot. But my other thing is that is mostly extramural activities. In terms of the content at schools
Sure.
that you were talking about, what do you think about that?
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. It's difficult to gauge because there are people who are interested in what the current curriculum has to offer,
Yeah.
right? And there are stuff that is in the curriculum that we don't need. For instance, history. I mean, we could have studies that sort of teach us more in indigenous African ways,
okay.
and that
Yeah,
is not in our curriculum,
Yeah.
right? You can only maybe find that when you're doing your
Own research.
secondary or tertiary education, where if you want to learn more about anthropology, I hope I pronounced that word correctly. If you want to learn about indigenous studies, geology, and all these other African, it's like even with what is it, the thing where you read stars and stuff like that? Astrology. If we had a curriculum that allows us to know our way of doing things, and how Africans used to sort of look at astrology and determine which season is coming or which season they're currently at. So we learn quite a lot of things that are more Western than African. So that I would like to change about our system.
Yeah.
But in terms of the science part of it, I still feel like calculus is important. I
Yeah.
mean, if you want to be a doctor, there's certain calculations that you need to know, and there's certain level of proficiency that you need to have for you to practice in that area. It's the same with law. You need to know a bit of history in terms of how the law came about and stuff like that, and how then you can practice. But it always needs to be in touch with reality and what we're going through. I think my disagreement would be on the level of education is completely out of touch with what is needed
100%.
currently. Because if you are going to say we all must be academics, we all must be lawyers, then what about people who want to use their hands? It needs to account for those people to say, look, there are people who are good at plumbing and good at bricklaying and stuff like that, but we need to also accommodate those people.
And can I tell you why that's good?
Yeah.
That's good because it's creating skills development, which for the most part has now disappeared. Mostly
Sure.
because everyone wants to be an academic, right?
Sure.
So, and now what's happening is a lot of people are graduating, a lot of people are being academics, but at the end,
Can't find jobs.
they can't find jobs because it's so saturated. You know?
Yeah.
So we still need, they call them blue collar skills,
Skills,
right?
yeah.
which are your plumbing, which we were talking about, plumbing, building, tiling, whatever it is that you do with your hands. You know,
Sure.
we're losing so much money because we don't have those facilities that allow us to kind of explore those skills further.
Sure.
You know, so I think you've touched on a lot of things. I I agree with you when you say we the current educational system does not align with where we're at right now. I'm just looking at the things that I've learned online and the things that, for example, that I see in children's books because I have nephews and you know, and it's so different. It is so different. The things that they should be learning about should be about the future, technology. You know, we don't have technology in schools. You know, we don't have enough technology. So that they know, I think they tried to introduce iPads and stuff.
Yeah.
And they were stealing them and whatnot. I think they should
But
not
that's
take
also
them
just
home.
making the learning mechanism easier. It
Easier.
doesn't change the content.
No, but everything has to change, including the content.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. For them, they thought that was it.
Yeah,
When
yeah, they did. Yeah, yeah.
you
They
know,
just
just
gave
like we'll give you
the iPads,
iPads,
you'll
and then
see.
you'll figure. But it's like,
But they
what
want
is in the
changing
iPad?
that. Yeah. We have to change the entire curriculum and teach them things that are relevant to what's happening right now in this current time. Even with our history, we know the history that we learn is their history. You know, we won't talk about who's them. And I think that we should focus mostly on the future, you know, and how we should. It's. I think we're way past now doing. Going to. I think now we should also incorporate online learning. You know.
And you know, when speaking on online learning, do you know how terrifying? And this is the story that I'm going to tell. How terrifying it was for me to, like, buy something online. I'm archaic like that. I started learning about like digital marketing, online businesses, e-commerce and stuff like that. When you actually were like, I was interested, I was like, let me just go Google
and check them out.
But I didn't realize how easy it is to actually buy things. You don't have to go
Online.
to the
You don't
shops.
have to go.
Dude, that could have saved me a lot of money. Because
A
I
lot of
always
time,
thought
a
a
lot
lot
of
of time, a
effort.
lot of effort. You can literally run a business at home.
Yeah, you can.
But people aren't aware about that. But anyway, I feel like
It's
online,
it's an education thing. You know, I think-
literacy. No one wants
Yeah.
to expose black people in that business.
But also, I think it's not a mistake. It's on purpose. Our education system, honestly, is for employees. It's not for creators and entrepreneurs and whatnot. If you want that type of information, you have to seek it out on your own.
On your own.
You know,
I like
so-
that. I like that.
Yeah.
You saying that it's actually it's purpose because
Yeah,
now they're like, look, if they know the tricks, then
Yeah.
everyone wouldn't want to be an employee or wouldn't want to work for us.
Yep.
To achieve the same level of, because I mean, if you run your own business, and that's why I think entrepreneurship is very important, in a sense that it's not only aimed at uplifting your life or
Yep.
creating income for you, but it's also aimed at creating income for other people. And we can't
That's
all
very
want to
different.
go and work for KPMG,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah.
So I think,
And also, what's happening right now is there's an article that came out. It's saying a large number of companies now does not require a degree anymore. Imagine, so many people have been to university, you know. So what happens to those guys? You literally wasted 3 years of your 3 years, 4 years, 5, upwards of 8 years in school. Next thing, companies are saying, "Nah, we actually don't." So that's why I'm saying we should optimize to our education system for the current type of way of learning. You know, I think we are even there's a statistic that says South Africa, I think, has the worst education system. I think out of 67 countries, I think we're number 50.
sure.
Imagine, that's horrible.
That
That's
is bad.
horrible. And also, there's also an article that came out that said 81% of grade 4 learners can't read for meaning. Meaning they can read, but they don't understand
grasp and understand
what it means.
the content
That's
means.
crazy. But I also don't fault them. You know why? Because their parents also don't read. Imagine, nah, you come
Oh,
home.
and the teachers. And the teachers
Exactly.
aren't skilled enough
Yeah,
to
from
teach.
the article
Yeah.
that we just also saw that
Sure.
that says the proficiency, meaning the skill level of South African teachers is 41% compared to Zimbabwean, which is
That
87.
and not that, because I know Zim education
87.
system is quite good.
Yeah, yeah.
They use the Cambridge, I'm not sure if it's Cambridge or Oxford educational system.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, guys,
40% clear. 40% clear of our teachers. What are our teachers doing? You know what they're doing? They're dancing on TikTok. So I'm up here. That's what our teachers.
But look, I also wanted to talk about like social skills. Like I think, like I said, there's quite a lot of things that need to be introduced in the curriculum. For instance, social skills. I think we would have been better at what we do if we actually learned how to communicate.
Yeah.
So a lot of the schools teach us the material that we need. They will teach you chemistry. They'll teach you whatever that you need, business, finance,
So
accounting.
they're rigid.
Right?
They're rigid. It's rigid.
It's rigid. But now they don't teach you how to communicate those things in the corporate world or in practice. How then do you need to then tell people about your knowledge? So it's like, for instance, if you are going to teach me financial accounting, but you don't teach me the social skills in terms of how to communicate effectively with my bosses, how to then make presentations, how to do memos, how to structure what I know or what information that I process, right? For me, it's useless because you have a lot of people who are employees who know the work, but they can't verbalize it. They can't tell you about what they know because the system has not taught them when you communicate your verbal. There's different types of communications. There's non-verbal, there's verbal. When you want to communicate, these are the steps that you need to learn, or these are the things that you need to learn for you to be able to communicate better. It's the same thing with budgeting as well. You're teaching me a financial accounting, but you're not teaching me something basic such as doing a budget every month and what is it that I need to consider. What is VAT? You're telling me there needs to be VAT. I mean, when you calculate on the accounting, when you do your ledgers, there's also, you need to make provision for VAT, right? But what is VAT? Break it down for me.
Yeah.
That VAT is value added tax, and it comes in this form. And I feel like our teachers fail in that regard because they assume
income tax. There's so many things.
They assume that we understand what that is, you know, and I could go on. There's quite a lot of things.
It's a skill issue, bro.
It's a skill issue.
It's a skill issue. Everything was said in the article. The proficiency is 41%. So our teachers are.
But where do they get the curriculum? Because I mean, the Department of Education is the one who's in charge in terms of the curriculum. So you see that comes from the top.
From the top.
There are people, external moderators that come to school to check what you've done, to check like your profile and to check the kids' portfolios. Yeah, that's the word, portfolios. To check what is it that you've covered in that particular curriculum. So if the department has those resources and people do come, then it clearly means the content that is being taught or being approved at the top is the one that's an issue.
Who do you think is approving it? Okay, it's the parties that are in charge and whatnot. How old are those people? Those people are old, you know, and they still used to the Bantu education. I think we should phase this type of education system out. And my thing is, for South Africa to prosper, we need new information.
Exactly.
New information is new education, new information. Yeah. That's the only way we can transform. Transformation can only happen when we have young leaders, young brilliant minds
who understand the
innovation.
Mandates. Yeah,
there'll be no innovation when old people are still ruling. There'll be no and also this touches on the upcoming elections. So guys, vote for young people.
Vote for change and vote for young people.
You know,
because also you're not inspired to create new things. I mean,
and also
the same. saying that says you can't teach
an old dog
an old dog new tricks, right?
And also, the same people who are making decisions on our education systems are people who won't live long enough to see the effects of the education system. You know, and they won't live long enough.
Yeah.
They decide for themselves, or they
That this is
approve.
what-
Yeah, they
yeah.
approve for themselves. Okay, this is what kids should be learning. But we know as young people that no, this is what we need to learn. We need to learn more about technology.
Yeah.
Technology is the future. We need to learn more about. I think we also, in as much as technology is the future, we need to learn more blue collar skills. You know,
Sure.
there's other people from other countries are coming to our country to maintain things that we should be maintaining. That's taking away from our. That's
Yeah.
taking away from our own people
Our own
also.
people.
You know, because
I mean, that has always been a norm. I mean, look, if people can come and mine diamonds and take them elsewhere to sort of mine minerals in South Africa, and then they
Why is
export
that?
them,
Why
and
is
then they
that?
go
Why is that? They know what
because
we
they
don't know.
they don't have this. We don't have the skills. We don't have
Exactly.
the
It's a knowledge
machines. We
thing,
don't have the
okay?
technology to do all those other
We don't
things.
know. We don't know what we don't know. And if
Yeah.
you don't know what you can't, you don't know. You can't do what you can't do
Yeah.
because you don't know. You don't know which machinery is required to extract
Exactly.
the gold, to purify the gold. You don't.
Yeah.
You don't have that education. You know. But they'll teach you enough just for you to know enough how to be an employee, but not enough for you to create and build. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think.
And our leaders are not even innovative in a sense that they're not even willing to take these ideas because I mean the youth sort of has an understanding or has a clue in terms of where we're going in
Yeah,
future.
yeah.
I mean, the fourth industrial revolution is upon us, and we know
Already in it.
we are already in it, right? So we know we have access to certain things that they don't have access to. And I mean, for instance, there's quite a lot of people who are doing businesses on TikTok.
Yep.
There's quite a lot of people who are doing businesses online.
Yep.
And there are people who want to get into that market and get into that sector, but they're not exposed because no one teaches them. I mean, if someone is going to teach you algebra in varsity and you want to be a digital marketer, do you think that will align?
Doesn't
Because it's
apply.
going to basically waste your time.
Yep.
Yeah, but- so have people, and that's why I was saying access is a very big part of the problem because there are people who don't even care about the internet, who don't care about the fourth industrial revolution and blue collar sectors.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They just care about sports. They just care about, things that aren't, out there. And there are people who want to do. There are people who want to do pottery. People want to do painting. They don't know how valuable that part
That
is,
skill
and
is.
that skill is. They don't have access to the galleries that they need to have access to photography, all these other things. And I'm saying, have people need to have access to those things and let them decide if it's what they want or not, right?
Yeah, and also the thing with, I don't want to now drive the, but it's okay. So the thing with
Track them, man.
no, okay, no, I'm just thinking about about university, right? They're talking about how black people are in the past uneducated and stuff. Now that most black people are educated, now you seek employment. That now they'll tell you no, you need work experience. You don't. Where do I'm just out of school, bruv. Where
Give
do
me
I
the
get?
work
Give
so
me
that
the
I can have
work.
experience.
Exactly, so I can have the experience, right?
Yeah.
And now, now you have a degree. Now they say for you to get such and such, you have to get a master's, and now, so what's happening now is they're seeing that a lot of people are getting educated, and the more people get educated, they'll keep on moving the goalposts.
Sure.
The requirements will keep on increasing until,
And another thing, it's also to make sure, because they used to say education is the key to success. So when we have now the keys, they're changing all the locks, and this is because that's what the system aims to do.
Yeah, that part.
To say, this is what you need to work on. It's the same thing with like socioeconomic things, where it's like, you guys, you shouldn't smoke drugs, but I'm like, but people
I'm
need
not
to be kept.
working.
People need to have activities that are gonna allow them to
Yeah,
not
to
be in
not
that space,
partake
to
in-
partake in
Yeah.
that thing, and which goes also for our education system. You can't go to school and teach people that they're going to be engineers when their surrounding communities. So you can't want to inspire confidence in learners when the community that they live under is in a state of irreparable damage, or is in, in a mess. You want people to dream big, but their surrounding is, you're saying go to school, but we see a lot of unemployed graduates. What does that mean? Because it says to me, why should I go to school when Umang Mang, who's a doctor, is, I mean, doctors are even unemployed. I'm not saying doctors are, but I'm saying people who are meant to save people's lives are unemployed. You understand?
Yeah.
We are in a state of
Remember
state
that.
of our
Remember that
nation is
real. I said
bad.
true. That's it. 850 something, 857.
Yeah.
Doctors are currently unemployed in South Africa. Imagine,
dog.
so many.
Also, another thing that annoys me is the fact that it takes a lot of money for you to go to school, right? It takes a lot of money for you to get equipped into that sector that you want to go into. But now you're not getting returns. When you are done with your schooling, you don't have opportunities that are going to empower you. So a lot of people are depressed, and a lot of people are
because of the loans
because
they
of the unemployment rate,
the school loans,
for one, the school loans that they have that they can't repay because they're unemployed. They are also struggling with crime because now a lot of people are also want to be secured, but they can't afford that security because there's quite a lot of links that are pointing at the government. Yes, we can talk about the education system and it's in its own, but also the link goes back to, after that education system, after we've empowered the black child, are
With
they then
education.
able? Are then they able to sort of branch out and then be their own individuals and create other opportunities for themselves or other people, right? Because it's nice to say, yeah, incorporate literature, incorporate what is it, IT into the curriculum, incorporate hospitality, incorporate these things. But after that, will they have opportunities that allow them to practice it in that sector?
And also, I want to talk about these fly-by-nights. Nah.
Yo, Sus Joburg has a lot of those. Every corner there's mang
It's not
college
just
of
schools, even colleges, bro. And people pay a lot of money, as you're saying. People will pay a lot of money, and then only to find out that that school is not accredited, it's not recognized, you know. And there's a person that I know who experienced the same thing. You know, it's a very good, basically my brother. You know, and he went to one of those fly by night colleges, and they gaslighted him. He didn't get anything, but fortunately now he's in Australia and he's doing something else.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's hopefully he's not in a fly by night that side.
Yeah.
No, but also I think these people from other countries who come here and open those type of schools are capitalizing on our own ignorance and on our own lack of education. And you know, I think
because they see opportunity,
they see opportunity, and it doesn't help that we, even with us, we don't seek out information. I think there's so much information online. People see me talking and think that guy is smart. No, I just read.
It's the internet.
I read and I watch a lot of podcasts and I read. Also, I don't need. And also, there's this misconception that the only time you read is when you're in university. I
when
don't
you're in
think
a classroom setting.
Yeah. I don't think people are intentional about their education. I don't think people are intentional about information. You know this, bro. I read outside of
the normal way of learning.
Outside, why I seek information, I seek to educate myself. And also, we can't blame the children also. There's this illiteracy issue we have that they can't read for meaning.
Yeah.
The parents, I want to call out the parents. If your child doesn't see you reading, how do you expect them to practice that? Practice what you preach. You can't say, "I go to school when
But
but the
you
teacher,
don't read.
but you are as a parent, you're there by the gate drinking and being dumb and not, you know,
That's what I'm saying.
one thing about kids, they copy,
Yeah.
they'll copy all your actions if you don't instill education, if you don't read. Like guy one umntana wakho makafika endlini athola ubamba incwadi,
Yeah.
and they'll see it's okay. This is how I get
I
better,
learned. Sure.
So in as much we could say it's a skill issue. Our teachers are lack the proficiency or can't teach and
Sure.
whatnot.
Sure. Sure.
Even the parents themselves, I don't think parents instill
Yeah.
the thing of
You need.
seeking out
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
They don't ask their children what was for, what did you have to do at what did you do today at school, which homework do you have, how can
Yeah.
I help you, how are you understanding at school.
Yeah.
Our parents just wait for the results.
Yeah. And then you're failing. Yeah.
And when you fail, you're labeled as a failure for the rest of your life. I fail grade 8, well, and
And now
they use that as your identity. That's low fail metric. It does not work like that.
it's the same
You know
thing that annoys me about people who I come across from high school, and then they're like, "Yo, in high school, man, I used to be." I'm like, but that's irrelevant.
exactly.
Are you practicing that now? Are you using whatever skill you had now? And someone would come to me and be like, "Hey, mina, ngangiyenza esikoleni ngidlala ibhola." And I'm
Does
like,
not
"Are you a
work in
soccer
the
star now?"
it
In the real world,
doesn't work.
the things, the childlike interest that we had is now needs to come into life because now you're an adult. If you had a dream of becoming a radio DJ, I mean, you should have, and you were interested in it.
Yeah.
You should have practiced it at that time, and now it should be you getting exposed in that sector or you practicing that.
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
It's the same thing that you were saying right now, that a lot of the times in school they will teach us, parents will say, "No, you must go study," when they are going out and to have fun, going out to Gonga, for drinks. So it's the same thing that they do in school, where they'll tell us, look at your books, read, know your calculus. But when you go outside, they're not teaching you about entrepreneurship. They're not teaching you about the business side of the learning, where it's not practical for you. You'll teach me about calculating millions for a specific business or for a private owned business. But you're not teaching me about if I buy Amavage out 5 and I sell them at this rate, because our education needs to also tie in with, it needs to be like tangible. It needs to also tie in with the reality.
Okay. Yeah.
If you're going to teach me financial literacy, teach me financial literacy that is going to benefit me now. Like, that's why I was saying budgeting. If you need to know how to budget, you need to know what VAT is. If you're teaching me
So your thing
maths,
is practicality.
practicality.
It must be pragmatic outside of school. Is what I'm learning pragmatic? Is it practical? Can I use it in real world examples or in real world problems?
Exactly. If problem solving skills start there, where if I'm
Are they
taught,
real world applications basically? Okay.
exactly,
So what
because you
we're
can't
learning
teach me Joe
theory.
owns a 3 million company, and you need to calculate, look after the financial books of that institution, when I don't even know Joe. But teach me about, if uma wako uthengisa ama-potato awu-10 and you need to make profit, how are you then going to calculate profit? How much do you use to stock and stuff like that? So that's why I'm saying it needs to be in touch with the reality. It needs to be in touch with our system currently. Because yes, you can say go do a lot of plumbing, but who am I going to plumb for? I don't have a house. I can't go to someone's house and be like, "Do you need a plumber?" Create a skill. Teach people skills with the understanding or the concept that you are going to create employment for them. To say, if you are a bricklayer, for instance, there's going to be developments where that skill will be required. Because
Okay,
I'm
so
thinking there's quite a lot of they're building RDPs, but I've never actually seen
okay,
someone who go to school for that.
so where do you think the disconnect is? Like, because I hear you. I'm just trying to think where the because the intention of education is to
To
for people
empower you, yeah.
to empower and for you to be able to add value.
Sure.
Where are we failing? Where's the problem now? Because now
Yeah.
I'm trying to find where the disconnect is.
Disconnect,
Yes, we
yeah.
are going to school, we are going to university,
Yeah.
jobs. Okay,
Yeah.
what are we learning? Is it applicable in the real world? No, it's not. How do we make sure what we're learning, the education that we're getting is as practical, is makes us valuable members and contributing members of the society? You know, I'm trying to understand where do you think the disconnect is?
So the disconnect is in the sense that there isn't an education plan in terms of our curriculum where we are projecting in the next 10 years in online businesses are going to take over, right? What is it that we need to include in our curriculum that prepares our learners for that change, right?
Yeah.
In the next 10 years, fitness needs to be a necessity. It's been a necessity. But what is it that we're doing in schools that teach our kids that you need to be active? You need to have a curriculum, or you need to have a subject that teaches you about, working out and the importance of working out, right? So I think that's where we're missing it in terms of the people that are doing the research and studies don't normally do research and studies for future purposes. It's like we'll teach you that for now, but we know in future that won't be applicable. Because if you want me to um uh, ukuthi ngidefine or ngilabule iqoqo, for instance, ukuthi iqoqo linama-limbs anjani, what is in dissect iqoqo, how is that going to help me? Because I'm not planning to be a surgeon. But give me something that will not only teach me a skill, but is also going to allow me to have to bring in money or revenue using that skill. For instance, entrepreneurship. People don't teach us about businesses, and we need to thrive in that space because a lot of businesses don't take a lot of our people.
Yeah.
You get it?
So what about people who don't want to be entrepreneurs? What do we say about them? Like,
It goes back to access.
yeah.
If they don't want to be entrepreneurs and they are good in sport, then they should go to sports. Have facilities where they can train or they can work on their craft. If people want to be musician in the art scene, have schools that are dedicated, art schools that are dedicated to that particular
like NSA.
NSA, but have NSA accessible to disadvantaged communities, right? Not just to have NSA in Braamfontein and Upton Park when someone from a Zola wants to go there and they don't know how. Like, bring those schools closer. We had Italy song, festivals that were meant to were meant to sort of fund or inspire creativity.
So, okay, I'm trying to think about where the system is failing. So now I'm thinking, because we do have the resources, but the distribution of the resources is so little that people can't. Those facilities that you're talking about cannot be shared.
Sure. Not even shared.
Not
Some don't even have, like,
not even shared, but not even we don't. People can't have access to them because the only people who have access to proper education, proper facilities are people who pay. The private schools,
exactly.
Kids in private schools thrive. They thrive.
And you know why they thrive? It's because they have access to opportunities, have access to the right
And
networks, connections and stuff like that. I mean, if you put someone in in an environment
Yeah.
that allows them to flourish.
To be successful.
Trust me, they're going to grow. So we are in an environment that is aimed at making us fail. And we are in an environment that is a system that is developed to make us go all around and fail.
Yeah.
You know?
But also, I think we should change. I wanted to talk about this. I think we should also change our perspective about failure. Failure does not mean you are bad at the thing. It just means you don't know enough about it to improve, but you can be better
Sure.
at the thing. This stigma of more fail grade 11 or 12 or whatever, your life is over. No, you just don't know at that time. In that time, you failed, yes,
You
because
don't know
you
enough
don't
of
know
that
enough.
curriculum
Yes.
to even find out it's not even something that you are interested in.
It's not.
Because
It's not.
sometimes you
Yeah.
feel because you don't
You're
want to
not
pay attention, you're
interested.
not inspired, you're
Yep.
not motivated to
Yep.
know. For instance, I didn't do well with my maths because I knew I have no business,
Yeah.
learning maths.
I didn't do it
I needed
with my
financial
Afrikaans.
literacy, right? I need to know how to calculate
Yeah.
the basics.
Basic math.
But it absolutely does nothing for me. Even now, I'm not using maths.
Yeah.
I'm not using BODMAS right now,
Yeah.
right? So I'm saying people are going to take the next step or are going to be extra involved in learning if it's things that they are interested in. That's what I'm saying. With artistic people, a lot of people are good at dancing. They're very good at dancing.
But also, you start now with the age of social media. You're seeing how creative people are, and we've learned so much more online more than at school.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing.
And now people are jumping on these African dance challenges as if because South African people now that's like we're occupying the market, and I'm saying TikTok knows this.
Yeah.
TikTok knows this, and I'm pretty sure they're going to do something
I think
to not allow content creators to prosper.
Don't you think with the we should also optimize for the way social media is right now for kids to be able to learn or have like an app, right, where kids are able to scroll about whatever curriculum, you scroll
Exactly.
whatever it is, maths, okay, today
it's access. It's access. We don't have access to that information.
An app that's going to, it's a social media app, but it's just for learning.
Copyright that.
Yeah,
we're gonna create that in future. That. Please don't steal our ideas.
Yeah, because
that could actually
you learn so many things on TikTok. A surgeon doctor could tell you about how to make a brain surgery. You'll be convinced that you know what I can be a part of, because they teach you so much. And also with our attention spans getting reducing.
Yeah.
What more with children, because they're always on their phones. That's why I'm saying we should look at ways on how we could optimize education for the current system of the world, in terms of tech and whatnot,
Yeah.
So yeah.
And again, I think also there's also a danger with social media in as much as it gives us these opportunities and there's access to it. But there's so much danger attached to it because you are now flooding me with a certain specific. I'm forgetting the feeling. What is the feeling? Dopamine. So you're giving me
dopamine,
flooding me with dopamine that I can't control. So the only thing I need to then do is go back on TikTok and scroll again. And that's why sometimes it's very important to do like a social media detox, where you just leave social media alone and because now.
So when you get bored,
you
know what's that called? The thing that I was talking about, learning online. It's called micro learning. You're optimizing your timeline to learn what you want to do. It's called like micro learning. So when you want to learn about maths, you start liking videos, and then the algorithm is going to recognize that, okay, this person wants to learn about maths. Then it will show you more maths content.
Related content. Yeah. No. I agree with that. I agree with that concept. But now I'm also saying, let's use social media for productive things. Let's use social media for things that are going to benefit us. I mean, to learn about, for instance, I learned about driving. I learned about parking in certain spaces on TikTok. And I was like, what? This is so easy. You
TikTok
get it?
is
So there's
one shot
exposure.
for everything now.
There's quite a lot of information that is out there in the internet, or on the internet, sorry, on the internet, that we're not utilizing. I mean, for instance, you spoke about the fact that you watch a lot of podcasts. Those are those are some of the things that could actually give
Best
you
way to learn.
wisdom, knowledge,
Best
without
way
even
to
you
learn
going
to
to
university.
university, or
Yeah.
even traveling to those auditoriums where they're speaking, because it's online, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's where we make the mistake of
And
thinking.
also, let's just talk about how can we make, because the other thing, the problem with access also is data. Data is so expensive.
Yeah.
And the people that we want to empower are people who may have a phone, because everyone has a phone, but
Yeah.
they don't have access to the internet now
Yeah.
to learn what they need to learn. You know, we can create the app, but how does the average kid is so
Get access to it.
get access to it? Because it data man, just he has to buy data, and data, we all know data is quite expensive.
Yeah, I think it's all those things, because those are external factors that the government needs to. Right now, we need to have a country where we're not paying for water, we're not paying for electricity, you know, because I think those are the
pay for certain things.
Yes, we should pay for certain things, but you wanting to build a statue for 400 million as opposed to building, or you want to create a flag for 26 million when kunabantu who would use that money properly. That's what I'm saying, Uti. In terms of the budget, they need to come up with a budget that allows people to also have like primary access to primary things that they need. Like education is important.
Like
We shouldn't be
material
paying
for you. Yeah.
yeah. We shouldn't be paying for textbook. We shouldn't be paying
But
for
most schools in like townships are free. Most.
Yeah, but they don't have the facilities. Yes, they are the
Free.
education system in terms of the textbook and the and you going to that skill. But now the quality of the education.
Yeah, the quality.
Yes, it's free, but what about the
quality is
quality?
bad.
Right? The quality is bad.
Yeah.
You know.
But
So
don't
I
you
don't
think,
know what. Yeah.
don't again, since there's so the resources are limited, because remember, the moment you have an an abundance of something,
Yeah.
the quality kind of, because it's, you know. So I'm just thinking, since yes, we do have access to free education, so many people have access to free education, we can't have both. Do you think it's possible to have both the quality and the quantity?
Yeah, but the thing is, the aim. I mean, we're not looking into competing, because I do believe that there are opportunities, right? And everyone can have access to those opportunities. And the reason that we are all going for the same opportunities is because we see that there's money in that opportunity, or there's access to you getting the economy. I'm seeing a lot of black people moving away from actually doing the 9 to 5 to doing several other things because they want money. I mean, if you are a doctor and you are now doing content creation, you're now doing radio, you're doing these other things, it means that you are exposed to certain things that you didn't know were accessible to you. Might have obviously not even done medicine to begin with. So a lot of people are now moving from going to do degrees and stuff like that, and realizing that their natural talent are certain things that are gonna take them out of where they of poverty, right? So that's where I'm going with this. That if you give people access, people will eventually channel themselves into where they need to go. You wouldn't find a teacher who's also a businessman who's also in whatnot. People will gravitate towards what they want to do and what they know and what they are good at naturally. So we wouldn't even have a concentration where like a lot of people wanna go do now law, right?
A lot of people
There are people who wanna write, who wanna be writers, but they don't know. They're like, oh, the only way I can do it is if I learn law and I learn how to write. But it's like, no, you don't have to do that. If you want to be a writer, go do that thing, right? So yeah.
Yeah. So to wrap it up,
access.
final thoughts.
That's I stand on that point.
Yeah.
I stand on business. give people access to things, give people access to facilities that are gonna allow them to educate themselves, that are gonna allow to develop themselves, develop the communities, ultimately develop the economy.
Yeah. Okay.
Redefine the black community.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know?
Okay, my thing is, I think the entire education system needs a restructuring and a transformation. I think most things that these kids are learning, and everyone, every level, primary, it's all outdated.
Sure.
Information moves so quick. We don't understand how quickly information is changing. That by the time you learn something, especially online, when you learn something a month ago, a month later, it's completely changed.
Sure.
So I think we should restructure, transform, and optimize to learn quicker. Because the
Sure.
quicker we're able to learn, the more we can make radical change, the change that we need.
Sure.
And it's not just educational; it's even economic. It's even economic, and yeah, the more we can prosper as a nation.
Yeah.
So that's what I can say. I think
Yeah,
we should
man. Now we're gonna
close
go
it.
out for
Street
street interviews.
Yeah. That
Yeah, man.
size.
So, guys, please do go like, subscribe, share,
And follow us
and
on
follow
TikTok,
us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Because I think the aim of this podcast is to just also interact,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we want to create a platform where everyone can interact and they can share their views.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you so much, man, for
Yeah.
for this
And
episode.
also, guys, forgive us. Today we were a bit rusty. It's
a
been
bit
2
rusty.
weeks.
It's been like
if we missed
3 weeks
anything,
actually. Is it
yeah,
two?
three. I
Three,
think
yeah.
Yeah, if we missed anything, if we left out something, mention it in the comments. Peace.
Peace out.
Walking in rainbow, dreams are coming true. Good things are coming your way.
Sure, potential social Pennsylvania. I'm not gonna say introduce yourself, but if you want to introduce yourself, you could just
pass.
you could pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So we had a discussion here regarding the education system in South Africa. What is your opinion? Do you think we are doing good, doing bad? What can we change? Or we don't even have to change anything at all? What is your view with regards to our system?
Well, my personal view, according to me, are we doing bad? Sure, it's not really bad, but I think we can have like certain improvements when it comes to our system. Yeah, so
Where can we improve?
I understand. We can improve. First of all, the government.
Sure.
I think the government when it comes to providing the material which abantu bafunde.
Sure.
Understand. Technology, moving towards the technology now. We're not
Sure.
we need to sofunda mhlawumbe ngebantu education.
Yeah,
also the
with
system
sure.
yes. You understand. And then second, othisha. I mean othisha. Othisha, let's say for example, if you have a teacher and then a percentage yelokhuzane yesikole, say mhlawumbe isikole esithizeni, the percentage was 50%.
Sure.
What do you need to change when a person is a teacher? What are your subjects there? Of which percentage was not high?
Yeah.
What
So
do
you need to
do?
make sure that we
Yes,
read
understand. So it
more
means
higher
that you're
than that.
lacking in a certain skill. It's not about the student.
Yeah.
But iqala nguteacher.
Ukuthi
Teacher
wena what are you doing?
uyoseklasini, you
Sure.
understand? So
Yeah.
you need to-
What about the schools not teaching us about like practical things? My thinking would be izinto esifunde eklasini izinto kumele si-apply practical. So what is your views on ukusifundisa izinto esingeke sikwazi uku-apply?
it's killing us. It's killing us, to be quite honest. Because, for example, me personally, izinto ey'ningi ngi-experience while I was growing, but I was never taught a skill.
Sure.
Understand? So reality versus an educational system, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Understand? Okay. For example, monga yeskela bakufundisa mhlawumbe nge-economics, but how is economics you want to peel
In real life,
understand?
exactly. Yeah.
So I think we need to change what we need to change.
I'm going to say kakhulu.
Yeah, so sharp.
Cela uzintroduce.
Welcome to Lano Kamchat.
Okay, Jamel Masitulani. La besidingida lolu daba mfethu regarding education system as South Africa. Yeah. So abantu abaningi bafeel ukuthi education system is pale outside world. Yeah. So it doesn't give us the necessary essentials for us to thrive. And that's just different. Yeah. So what is your view? Do you think it's not doing enough or it's doing too much? What is your take on it?
Okay, mina take on it now. Let's say education that has failed. So reason being, what is friends to this guy as a mind that they promoted it. So for example, ungathola ikela let's say
So,
abacedeza basemabhizinisi emama. So they need to good nabo.
yeah.
Like not ukuthi kube isigera kuphela ukuthi abaceda ukufunda achieve
Khona abantu abanama-talent, khona ezinye izinto
izinto eziphazisayo emakasana indlela like nama-sports facilities abed.
Sure.
First of all, isowethu asinayo like isikole esingathi ne-swimming pool.
Sure.
Khona abanama-swimming pool, cricket, for example.
So i-access yezinto esingaba interested kuzo ezishodayo.
Ngiyaphila ngezwa kuphi.
Ngiyaphila mfethu. So sine-topic la kade siyidiscussa that relates to the education system here in South Africa. So we're just discussing whether the curriculum has all the things that we want to learn as learners here in South Africa, or does it also consist of things that are not useful, you know? So I don't know, what is your opinion on the education system in its entirety?
On my side, I would say the education system, because currently I can't compare it with like the outside world.
Sure.
But what I've noticed is that like it isn't it doesn't prepare you for the outside world. Yeah, because I feel it's from this are just the basic of grade 12. Beyond that, it doesn't teach you about umhlaba, ukuthi how to start a business, how to be an employee and stuff. So I feel as if iyaleka endaweni eyiningi, and it feels like i-program anyway.
Yeah.
Ukuthi is-control, so kuzocontroleka umnotho. Laba abaphezulu bazohlale babhenefitha because of ama-channels aplaceiwe ukuthi oppresswe like abantu. I would refer to abantu abamnyama kakhulu and stuff.
Yeah. So according to you, what is the solution? What should we work on? What would be the most probable way of doing things? Or do we need a new curriculum? Do we need to ask the leaders to change how things are done? What is your opinion? What can we do better?
I think like ama-leaders ethu, they need to focus more ukuthi asikhulise in terms of the corporate world, ukuthi nempondo yethu kungabi ngathi impondo eseboxini, but sibe exposed to amabhizinisi, give us opportunities and exposure to izinto ezifana nabo-corporate environment, like ama-enterprise ukuthi uqala kanjani ibhizinisi.
Sure.
You don't just look at isilungu sifunda kanjani, ukuthi ubala kanjani. Yeah, it must be you practical, because at the end mase uphumela like emhlabeni lamampela uyabona ukuthi you still feel lost.
Sure.
Yeah, well, it's like it's a new world.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think if we can get exposure like ey'ntweni ezokuthi ibhizinisi uqala kanjani, ifunani nani, bese kubhekwe ukuthi if you are looking at going into the corporate world, how yabo sithole like some kind of birth of idea eyokuthi how does the world work in terms of currency, ukuthi silethe imali ngapha eSouth Africa than ukuthi senzele ezinye indawo ezingaphandle.
Okay. Thank you so much for the education we need exposure, and I think education does not expose us to a lot of things that we need that are essential for us to get ahead in life. So for my cool of it to touch on the interview. Thank you so much.
All right, that moment.
Sure.